Hi, my name is Devin Helming. I'm a sales agronomist with Osmus Farm Supply, and I want to welcome you to this edition of the Ag Update. Today what I'm going to be talking to you about is drought impact on our corn and somewhat what we've seen on our beans. And first is just some background information. We put up a weather station here 2 years ago, and I've summarized some of the data just to kind of give you an impact of what we've had right specific locally in this area. And the basic summary that you can look at is we've had about 8 inches less of rain than last year. This is looking at March through basically July. So last year in 2019 we had 19 inches of rain approximately. This year we've had approximately a little over 10 inches of rain. We don't have a lot of data because we haven't had the weather station that long. Yet, I still think it's very nice to be able to capture that and just kind of paint the picture of what we've seen so far. So with that as kind of a backdrop of what we've had for rain, I will also comment and say, generally speaking, our soils are better at handling drought than they are too much water. So we have very good water holding capacity for the most part, and generally we handle the drought well. With that being said, I still think that we're going to have some impact from the drought on our crop yields. If you can see the background here of the corn, it actually looks pretty good, and it does in a lot of cases from across the countryside. But when you do go into the cornfield, there's a few things that start to get impacted. I've got a couple of ears here I'm just going to grab and show you. What I am noticing is that within any given field, there's a tremendous amount of variability. So I think one of the impacts that we're going to see this year is just a lot of variability from soil type to soil type. Same field, same hybrid, this is what you can start to expect. Fortunately, with our good soils, generally speaking, I would say we have less of these and more of these. But at the same time, what you can see, if this can get zoomed in a little bit, is just the nose that started to really come down here. One, it's a smaller ear, but two, we had fertilized kernels that just, due to the drouthier conditions of the soil, started to back off more. So this is definitely something that is present. Okay, this is what you might observe fairly quick after pollination in the early stages of the growth and development of the kernel. If we have an ear that's more like this and we continue to stay dry, what you start to find is maybe the kernel depth won't get quite as deep, and perhaps your test weight might be a little bit lighter. So ears that pollinated well and didn't abort still may have some impact from the drought. At the end of the day, what it seems like to me is this is not a train wreck by any stretch, yet we were setting really good potential. We planted in great conditions. There were very few drown-out spots, so we had a lot of potential, and I think expectations were really high. Mine were for sure, and I know a lot of people's were. But this drought and this lack of rain is going to just start pulling that back a little bit. I think that's what we're going to see. Again, good yields, but maybe not the potential that we at one point had. Moving on to soybeans, what sometimes you'll see with soybeans as you go across the countryside is you might see just a little bit different area or a different looking area of the field. Sometimes the soybean will just kind of turn its leaf over a little bit as one of the ways that it'll compensate for the drought. So sometimes you'll just see a little bit of that across the countryside. What I expect to see with the beans is those top clusters. You know, I always feel like August makes a bean crop, and those top clusters of beans may not get as fully developed. The seed size in general may not get quite to be as big either with the rain. So those are a couple of things that I'm looking at on the bean side. Certainly we still have potential to continue to benefit from a little bit of rain. We're about at the full dent stage on corn, and we're still just kind of packing in some of the grain there. So a little bit of rain would be good. We're not in a terrible train wreck situation, but for sure the top end has been reduced with some of the rain that we've had. The final comment that I'll make on that is the showers that we've had have been very isolated. So there might be pockets along certain highways and stretches where it just seems like they've missed all the rains. And then you get 10 miles away and they've had them. So I think within our area we're going to see a fair amount of variability, and in our fields we're going to see a great amount of variability that's probably going to mirror our soil type maps. So in conclusion, the drought has definitely probably taken off a little bit of the top end, but we still should have some respectable yields in many cases. With that, I want to thank you for tuning in and wish you all a safe harvest. Thank you.